Welcome. This is a collective reading for you. I'm glad you found it. I wanted to start by showing you some feathers. I've been collecting feathers. So this is a goose feather. It's kind of light gray. And this I think is also a goose feather. It's also, like, you can see the little cute goosey down pieces at the bottom. And then, but this one, I don't know, maybe it is goose, but I think it's actually crow, but I don't know because it's got the goosey things at the bottom. So I'm not a feather expert, but I'm just noticing the gradient here. And then I have this little fluffy white feather, and I've just been guided to pick them up on my walks. I've been watching a reader, Nia, who is really into feathers, and I walk by feathers all the time, but I never pick them up because I don't know. I don't always have the opportunity to wash my hands immediately, but I've just been putting them into my little bag, and then I bring them home and I wash everything really well. So they're super clean as much as possible. But I wanted to show you this one in particular. So I don't remember the context. There was something going on with me in the moment, but I was walking by this little duck, and she was all by herself. And then she did this thing where she shook her tail feathers and this fell out. It's just the cutest little ducky feather. It's like light and dark together, which is kind of, I'm seeing the theme today. So I have, what I'm wearing is light and dark together. And then I have this gold sheen obsidian, which I got at a sound bath at my crystal shop recently. And not mine, but my friend owns it, and it's amazing. And she always gives a little gift to people who come to the sound bath. And this was the one, not this month, but the one before. This month, she gave us this agate geode, which is, and she said the hole in the middle was important, but it was I'm just seeing the portal. But it's like stepping through, this is not what she said. What I'm getting is stepping through a portal, but this helps clear the negative energy so you can step through that portal. This one is very protective. Obsidian's super protective. It's volcanic, but it also has that gold sheen, so it's that balance of the light and the dark as well. And then I wanted to use my new feather deck, Divine Feather Messenger, and on the bottom was this duck, which is a duck feather. It says, find comfort and balance in simple ways. You have support all around you. And that is what the feathers are showing us, right? They're little reminders that we are constantly supported. And if you cannot see that support, I want you to know it's there. If you can't see it, I want you to trust from me that it's there. You are supported, you are guided. If you're not feeling supported, you're probably pushing it away somehow. And a lot of times that push of support away from us, what we're actually doing is pushing ourselves away from our true self, from our higher purpose. I wrote down a little note to myself. It says, actually, there's a typo, first word. Your true self-worth and your ego are opposing forces. This is something I know, but I like the way it came through. Your true self-worth and your ego are opposing forces. Your ego must be incapacitated for you to shine. It sounds dramatic and scary, but it's so worth it. That was not an accident. I will tell you more in a moment. So your ego is your mask. It's not the real you at all. It protects you from other people seeing the real you, because when we live in this world, it's reasonable to want that protection. that ego can show up in a variety of ways. I think it tends to be different for people with power in this world just because of how they look versus people without as much power. So for example, I think it tends to show up differently in men versus women, but not always. It's not 100% like this. But so arrogance is not really something that is accepted in women. So their ego usually isn't going to show up as arrogance. Usually a man's ego will show up as arrogance. Whereas a woman's ego will show up as people-pleasing, and not just women, but any marginalized person is going to show up as more like, okay, I get that you don't think I should have any power, so your ego is going to try to show that you're submitting to the powers already in place, to hierarchy, to patriarchy, to, all the things that level us. We're not meant to be in a caste system at all. That's not right. Human beings made that. Well, either human beings or, invisible forces made that, and it's not what's true. It's not what's true and what's right and what's good. Certainly not what's good for us. It's going to be a lot better of a world when we all see each other as worthy, as equals, as equally deserving of a good life. So for men, like being a know-it-all or being arrogant or whatever, that usually is ego. And it's always hiding what's true about them. Like everyone knows something, right? But sometimes people will, and it's not, like I said, some women show up that way too. I'm not denying that at all. But a lot of times that bravado is hiding their sense of low self-worth. Whereas women, from years of trauma, generations of just everything that's happened to women over the course of history, women know it's better for us to be a little bit meek, a little bit mild, a little bit, not a little bit, a lot people-pleasing, and to submit, to show submission. Yeah, that's what it is. So and I'm, like I said, there are exceptions always. Or, this is the one that was coming through, to cry in manipulative ways for manipulative reasons. Whereas your true self, regardless of your gender, your true self has a true confidence to it that's grounded in the truth. And that may be mistaken for arrogance. It's not. Confidence is not the same as arrogance. Confidence means with faith. With this faith in yourself, in your higher self, with faith in spirit to support you as you speak the truth. It also shows up as genuine compassion and as an easeful flow of emotions. And those emotions might include a lot of crying sometimes, especially if it's been repressed and suppressed for a long time. You might need years of crying to balance out, and that's okay. It's wrong to cry to manipulate people, to lie and then cry to make people believe you. That's wrong. And it's not my responsibility or your responsibility to hold people responsible for that 100%. Spirit holds them responsible. And just life holds them responsible, because eventually no one's going to believe them. When they make up stories to hurt people, to bring people down, and then they cry to make people believe their story, ooh, Goddess doesn't like that. She doesn't. And the idea that, God, Goddess loves everything about us, they love everything about the true us. They don't love the lies. They don't love the falsehoods. They want us to be completely real. Spirit wants us to be 100% ourselves, totally aligned with love. And that is a power that is unmatched. It's a power that's worthy of us. It's a power that is worthy of existing in our world. And we all have access to it. All it takes is when we're guided. I saw 1001. When we're guided in a certain direction, we take that step. That's all it takes. That's how we align with love. We don't lie to ourselves. We stop lying to ourselves. And it's not your fault if you lie to yourself. You know, like if that was your conditioning, well, I'm not surprised. Yeah, this world is full of falsehood, and you don't have to believe that anymore. Believing yourself, believing your own emotions, you know, to some degree, right? Like you don't want your emotions to rule you. You want spirit and love to rule you. But when emotions come through, they're guideposts. They are red flags or green flags or white flags or whatever, right? Like they're telling you which way to go. And often they're telling you, and not just your emotions, but also your physical responses. You're nervous. I've had so many people in the last year talk to me about the nervous system as if they just found out about it. If you don't know about your nervous system, please go find out about it. Just like Google or whatever. How does my nervous system affect my life? Because if you don't know it's a factor, oh man, it is. It is a factor. It's, you know, it starts at your brain and it goes through your whole body. And it keeps you alive. That's the purpose. But then eventually, when you've experienced enough trauma or you've ignored yourself enough or whatever it is, it starts to go haywire, I'm hearing. And so the way to pull it back in my experience, hasn't been a ton of meditation. And I know that works for people. I'm not saying it doesn't work. But for me, it hasn't required like a millionth degree of, that is not the way to say that. It hasn't required a ton of discipline. Maybe that is the way to say it. I don't know. It hasn't required like me being perfect in any way. I saw 12, 12, 12, 13. It hasn't required that of me. It's just required me to take little baby steps toward what my heart actually wants, which is really different from what I was told I wanted as a child, as a young adult, as a slightly older adult. Yeah. So there's a lot of falsehood in this world. It's a very egoic world that we live in. And in order for us to be normal and get a job, we have to present our ego. That's what they hire, right? So there's no shame and blame in having an ego, in using that as a strategy. We're all told to. It's just that eventually, usually around, approaching midlife, it starts breaking down in one way or another. And we can either choose to reinforce that ego and plug even harder into the falseness of this world. A lot of people do that. Most people do that. Or we can let the ego fall away and embrace who we truly are and watch other blessings come in. Or even the same ones we wanted over here, they're actually over here. That's been my experience. It's like, oh, I don't want to worry about money, but I don't know how to not worry about money. So I better stay plugged into this world that tells me I have to work extremely hard every single day, be super people pleasing, and do, ignore my heart all the time. I tried that for a really long time. And it didn't matter how much my family's income was on paper. We were always paycheck to paycheck. It didn't matter. We could be making nearly 7 figures and still be nearly paycheck to paycheck energetically. And so Spirit was like, why don't you try the other side of the boat? Oh, that came through the other day. Why don't you try the other side of the boat and send your nuts over there? And for me, that was embracing that Spirit is real, that Goddess is real, that everything doesn't have to be hyper masculine all the time. And so I started kind of pulling back. And that didn't make certain people happy. 1444. That didn't make certain people happy. And that's their deal. Because I'm happy. Like, I'm at a point now where I can take good care of everyone around me. Everyone around me in this moment in my life is loved and cherished by me. They know I'm here for them. They know I have an energy to help out, to love them. What I don't have energy to do is join their cult or follow their guru or whatever it is. Like, I have very firm boundaries about that. What I don't have energy to do is go like searching for a love connection. I know that that's not how it's going to happen for me. I know it. I know it. It's going to happen organically. It's going to happen naturally for me when it comes. Pause. I'm pausing for effect. Okay. We have Iris, the rainbow goddess. Iris means rainbow. She's the goddess of communication. It's the number 23, if that's important to you. So communication might be coming in for you. You might be communicating better. Spirit is trying, oh yeah, that's the feathers. Spirit is trying to communicate with you. They do it in any way you can read. And if you have your eyes open, they're there saying, here we are. We're in this flower. We're in this bird. We're in this number. We're in this feather. We're in this cosmic event. We are here and we want to speak to you. We want to talk to you, but we're not going to talk to you in a way that is going to scare you, that is going to make you put on your mask even harder. We are going to try to gently coerce you into another way of living so that you don't worry all the time. We don't want you to worry all the time. And we are going to promise you that when you step out onto this path with us, you are going to love it. You're going to love it. And yes, we know you'll be scared. That's why we're sending you all these signs. That's why we are everywhere. So I think it's just amazing because we have these phones. Any flower you see, you can go take a picture of it and it will come back with, here's what this flower is. And then you can go into Google or wherever and you can search for the flower and the spiritual meaning of the flower. And then there's a little message for you from Spirit every single time. I do this all the time, all day, every day. And then my favorite thing is one of my main guides is my grandma who died when I was 10 or 11. And I didn't really think I loved her, but I didn't really think we were that close. And there was like a big rift in our family when she actually crossed over. And so I was really surprised to find out she was one of my spirit guides. But she is. And one of the ways I know is she was like really into flowers and birds. And I just remember not being into that at all, not being interested. Once I got past, really little kid, I was kind of interested as a little kid. But I just remember she was just interested in this thing I was not interested in. That's what I remember. It was a disconnect. And now two of the main ways Spirit talks to me is through flowers and birds, which is what she loved so much. So I love that her energy's with me. I went to the Eras tour. That was a really big ascension moment for me. Taylor Swift came to Seattle. We have this stadium where there are measurable earthquakes sometimes. So the World Cup has been there. There was an earthquake. It's just they measure it underneath. It's not like disastrous. It's kind of a happy earthquake. And both nights she was here, we had these measurable earthquakes. And then when I looked at the numbers, I think I actually added wrong, but when I looked at the newspaper articles about the number of people there, I just saw 1919. Today's the 19th of July as I'm recording. When I looked at the numbers of people, it felt like, I think that, like I said, my math was wrong, but it felt like it added up to 144,000, which I thought was really beautiful. So there was like an earthquake. I was having ascension stuff happening all around that time, but especially that day. And I felt my grandma with me. And then I just watched the documentary about the Eras tour. I cried so hard every single episode. I'm just like, it was like, this is how every leader should be. Like, every leader needs to be seeing the little people around them and honoring them as they are, as the gift they are to the community. And Taylor does that. She does it. And I love that she told us that through that series. But yeah, it was just absolutely every single episode. I think there were 6. I was just in tears, just happy tears. Like, yes, yes, this is the world we want, right? And I love that my own ego death really started there. Like, it's not, start is always a hard thing to pin down. So that's not exactly true. You could say it started 10 years or 20 years before that. But in that moment, it just like ramped up. It was like, okay, we're going to kick this into high gear. And that was just a few days after I'd had this dream where Goddess was calling my name. And, you know, I don't know what I consented to, but I said yes 3 times. And they're like, okay, let's go. And we did. And it's 3 years later. And yeah, they kept their promises. Spirit kept their promises. Goddess kept her promise. I'm so cared for. I'm so loved by me, by the people I love the most. And the people who pretended to love me but didn't really, they're just not here anymore. So that I have room to put my energy into this, into you, into my higher calling, into my true self. And then the other one that came out was Saraswati. There is a beautiful, I don't listen to a lot of kind of like the older chanting or whatever, but there is a really beautiful Saraswati chant by, I think, is it Ram? I get them mixed up. Ram Dass? Or there's another guy. I don't know. They play songs. But there's a Saraswati one. And I just really love it. And she's been with me throughout this journey too. And she's the goddess of mastery. She's the swan goddess. Just thought of that. So grace, the word grace has been coming through nonstop for me. The graces are around you. The graces are around you. The graces, we're always surrounding love, right? So wherever love is, Aphrodite, wherever love is, the graces are there. The graces, let me see if I can remember. The graces are, no, I can't remember. One is bloom or abundance. One is mirth. And one is splendor. Yeah. So you're surrounded by, you are that grace, but you're surrounded by grace. Christians took the word grace and they made it about receiving what you don't deserve. I don't really think that that's the case. I think you are inherently deserving of all your blessings. It's just a matter of acknowledging your inheritance, acknowledging who you're here to be, who you came from, who you truly are. And just make sure that when you're showing up confidently, you've done the research, you've done the work, you know yourself, you've dug into who you really are. I see a lot of people, I think it's one of the things that bugs me the most is that there are just a lot of people in this world who have a lot of confidence without a lot of competence. And it's not about condemning them. It's a coping mechanism. And I get it. I know I don't know if I've done it because I care so much about competence. I think I go the other way. Like my ego goes the other way. My ego is like, I don't want you to hurt me, so I'm going to pretend I don't know anything and that I have no confidence. That's what I do. And I think that's what a lot of women do, especially when they're around men. When we get into groups of all women, some women will kind of be like, I'm the most masculine person in this group, and so I'm going to take charge and pretend I know what's going on. And sometimes they do, and they're amazing leaders, and sometimes they don't, and that hurts everybody. So just always doing that inner work at Delphi, there were some sayings around, and one of them was know thyself, right, in Greek. And the word for know was gnosis. And that's not, it's confusing because there was a heresy in the Christian church where gnosis, like the Gnostics, believed that which this came from Plato directly. They believed that spirit was good and the body was evil. And that's not true. That is patriarchy, actually. So most spiritual traditions hold that the earth, the embodied being, is feminine, whereas the sky and I'm not going to say most, the Western ones, whereas the sky tends to be masculine. Like the Christian God, we tend to picture a beardy guy in the sky, right? But that is not the full picture. I'm not saying that doesn't exist. I'm just saying it's not all of it. And we're embodied for a reason. Spirit didn't have to do this. The divine, the great knower of all, didn't have to embody us if it was going to be evil. He knew it was going to go in that direction, and he could have just skipped it. But there's a value to being embodied. So gnosis is about experiential wisdom. It's about being in your body. It's about understanding this world we're in, this physical world, and understanding that your emotions are physical, just like your nervous system. It is physical. It's giving you information. So if your nervous system is going haywire, it's telling you something. Something's wrong. Something's up. And you're able to address it. I'm not saying don't go to a doctor. I'm not saying don't take medicine. I think do what you need to do to follow your intuition. Do what you need to do to come back to your center. I don't personally take pharmaceuticals for the most part. I take some vitamins because I live in a very dark place most of the year, and so vitamin D is really important. But for the most part, I just eat normal food. And I have been in many moments throughout my life where maybe it would have been better if I had taken some sort of medicine to take care of depression or to take care of anxiety or whatever it is. I grew up with a family who was very nervous about that, very leery about that. And so I've always pushed it away. I've never smoked anything in my life, not one time, except, if you count my sage. But I'm just very I don't do drugs at all. I just don't. I did have an alcohol thing for a while, just part of fitting in and coping, and that that counts. But for the most part, I've found that the more I can get away from substances of any kind, the more I can connect with spirit. And releasing alcohol was a big part of that. I live in the perfect time for that, just like with the Google and the plants, right? I live in the perfect time to never drink because there's a million options. Everyone has alternatives to alcohol, so you can stay in your body. You don't have to leave to cope and also to have some fun, right? There are alternatives to that. But if you're trying to disconnect with your body, we also have a lot of options for that. I'm just saying, in my experience, that hasn't been the way that I have healed myself in my experience. But you might need that at first. I don't think it's healthy that there are these big gurus out there saying, get off your meds. I think that's wrong. They don't know you. Your doctor does know you. And I'm not saying don't get off your meds. I'm just saying there's no way some guy on YouTube with 8 million followers or whatever is going to know what you need. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. And there are a lot of people just spouting inaccuracies. We're in a body. Science is from spirit, like it or not. Medicines do help us. They've helped us survive. They've conquered diseases we couldn't have conquered any other way. And I'm grateful for that personally. I don't want those diseases to come back. I don't want people who need medical care to not be able to get medical care. Your body's important. And I also believe that from my own experience, that as I've come into alignment with what my heart wants for me, I've been less anxious. I've been less depressed. Physical, like things on my skin have just magically healed. A lot of times. Muscle pain has gone away. I believe that too. So this is not me telling you anything about you personally, because I don't know you. I'm just saying it's okay. Spirit's okay with you having a balance. Spirit's okay with you taking care of yourself, including with science. It's okay. Listen to your heart. They can speak to you even if you are taking pills. They can get to you. Don't worry. They'll find you. All right. I love you so much. This is your message, and I hope you have a wonderful day.